Hey everybody, Comman1701 here to give you guys another video diary, that is. I know it's been a really long time since I have recorded a video diary. It's been at least almost a year at this point since I believe that I announced that I was going to be doing a video diary series. And yeah, we got 4 episodes in, and then I completely disappeared off the face of the earth for about 4 to 5 months, and then I disappeared again for another 5 to 6 months. But don't worry, with my passion for doing YouTube videos and recording and having fun with it is kind of resurging. I am willing to bring this series back. So this is the first episode back, episode 5 of the video diaries. And don't worry, I'm going to be recording another one after this, or maybe 2 after this, because I want to get a few episodes recorded and then have them scheduled. They are going to still be going up on Tuesdays, so I'm recording this one about a week or so in advance, a little more over half a week and a half in advance, because I just kind of want to have them all ready and give myself enough time to edit them down if I need to. And yeah, so this episode we are going to be talking about a more recent event that happened that I mentioned in my life update video, and that will be the topic of heartbreak and how I've been dealing with it and how it's been affecting me and whatnot, and what led to the eventual heartbreak. So, as I mentioned in a previous video, and mentioned in a deleted video that quite a few people saw before I had to take it down, as I also mentioned in my life update, was that I was talking to someone, and her name was Tori. We were friends way back when I was 16 years old, pretty much around the time I started doing, vlog type videos. That was when it was recorded mostly on my phone back in the day, and when I was switching between gaming, really bad gaming content, to vlogs, which were equally as bad, but, I'm trying, get better, last year, bought the camera, everything like that, but let's not go off topic. But, yeah, 2017, me and this girl Tori met, and it was at a really bad time where I was trying to get out of a toxic relationship, but at the same time the person that I was talking to was love bombing me and, keeping my hope alive for the relationship, and, just kind of giving me false intentions of exactly, what she wanted. And so I had met Tori, and me and her had started talking, and I was flirting with her, and I was trying to move on from the toxic relationship and move on to something better. I obviously chose wrong, but at the time, I wasn't thinking straight. This ex of mine really had a hold on me, and I was really invested in a relationship even though I knew it wasn't good for me. And Tori was someone that I was escaping to and talking to, and eventually I ended up ghosting her and making her think that, well, not necessarily me making her think, but she thought that she had done something wrong, and that's why I was no longer talking to her and everything like that. So she was really hurt and confused, and a lot of that is definitely my fault. And I did apologize. I still am very sorry about what happened, and I feel like that still has something to do with how things between me and her ended. I feel like that, me ghosting her back then, still had a ripple effect later on when we fast forward 8 years later. So we will fast forward 8 years later. We will fast forward to literally, I think, the same time that I had started talking to her before, and to where we are now in the year of 2025. So me and her, I comment on a Facebook post of hers, and she messages me. We start talking, and we're playing video games every night, and just really bonding. After the first couple weeks, we started talking on the phone, and communicating more and getting to know each other more, and everything like that through video games and stuff. And then about a month after we had started talking again, I confessed my feelings for her. After the first couple times that we hung out, she admitted the same, and things just start escalating from there in really good, positive ways. I mean, yes, I did eventually get kicked out of my mom's and started staying with her friend, also my friend Zach, and I started living with him. We moved all my stuff in. Tori was coming over pretty much every day, it seemed like, and to the point to where she actually stayed 3 nights at Zach's with me in the room that we cleaned out and had everything sorted out. And we slept in the same bed together, we cuddled, everything like that. Our relationship was really building. It was really, it was really good. It was so good until I get kicked out of Zach's. I'm pretty sure me being drunk affected her in some sort of way, and my actions from that night affected her in a way. And at that point, she wasn't growing entirely distant from me, but she was growing distance enough to where I could notice, like, hey, something's going on. And but we're still talking. Our relationship's still building. We're still really close. I mean, we're not hanging out as much, which is unfortunate. I've invited her over a couple times, and she insisted on coming over to the camper a couple times. And she just, I don't know, there was one time where she could have came over and she didn't seem interested. I had the bonfire. I invited her over, and I knew if she needed a ride that, one of her friends could come with her. She seemed pretty distant and uninterested in that. And, then when September rolled around was when I really started to notice that, hey, she's just not texting me first anymore like she used to do. When I text her, it takes her hours to text me back, and I just started hurting. But I mean, at the same time, I was being really understanding, like, hey, if she's got stuff that's going on and she needs time for herself, I completely understand. I asked for reassurance, and for her to explain to me, and even though she didn't have to explain to me, she still did, and I respected that. And everything seemed good. And then just some issues arise with her ex. It seemed like he was complaining or going crazy about me out of nowhere, and he was telling Tori that I had reacted to one of his post on Facebook, which is not true. I reacted to Tori's message she left under one of his posts, and that was about it. So I don't know what was going on. I don't know if maybe he got into her ear and convinced her to do it, but she ended up blocking me, and she blocked me on almost everything. And she hasn't talked to me in almost 2 months now, and I still miss her, like, really, really badly. But like, I've learned to handle heartbreak a lot better than I used to. But I don't know, this one really hurt because it's been a long time since I had in-person relationship. A lot of my relationships had been long distance and stuff like that. So it's been a really long time. And, the relationship that I had with her was like, my intention wasn't to date her or, like her more than a friend and have feelings for her. My intentions were, hey, cool, I got another friend. We can play games together all the time. We can talk, text, everything like that. And then it was like a month in, I started realizing, oh wow, I'm actually, developing real feelings for her. And, like with the way things were while I was staying at my buddy Zach, things felt really serious and, we're going in the right direction. I mean, I was giving her time. I wasn't trying to rush her into anything crazy, but, I wanted her to know how I felt and that my intentions and my feelings were true and pure. So, but, yeah, it hit me differently. Like, the first week or two, like, I was really upset. I was letting it bother me. Like, I'd be at work and, like, that'd be, like, the only thing I'd think about and going through all the different scenarios and possibilities of what might have happened. What if I did something? I was just going over, like, a lot of the negative of what I might have done. And, I was kind of in denial of our friendship relationship being over. Like, I'm still holding out for hope that she ends up talking to me again. Like, even if she doesn't want a romantic kind of relationship with me, I'd still want some sort of relationship with her. I'd still want her to be a part of my life, and I'd like to be a part of hers, and, and I don't know if she does see this. I don't know if this will make things worse, or if I'll be asked to take the video down, or whatnot, but I feel like this is like, not to, I don't want to be selfish, but like the point of the video diaries is to express myself, things that I'm going to, or topics that I'm really relating to. Like, that's the whole reason for these video diaries, is to get that shit out there. And alright, sorry about that. I'm gonna have to edit that chunk of the video out. I could have swore I heard a knocking on the door, but that's besides the point. But, like I was saying, like, I want these for myself. I want these to be things that I can look back on, and, maybe things that'll help me in the future, or, maybe some of the things that I'm saying someone else can relate to, and, not feel as alone in whatever they may be going through, such as a heartbreak or breakup. But, it's like, it's really hard, because you find a person, and then that person becomes like a priority, becomes one of like the main things in a routine. They become part of your routine, and that's how I felt with Tori. She felt like a really big part of my routine and my day to day. It would have been awesome to have her still be a part of that while I'm working, going to therapy, working on all these things that I've needed to work on for a while now. And, she was like the first person that I really started talking to within those 8 months at the time, where I was just isolating myself and not talking to anyone or doing anything or getting out of the house or getting out of bed for that. She was kind of the person that lit the spark underneath me and kind of started motivating me to get better and all these great things. Like, my mindset now, like, even though we still have bad days and stuff, and we still have negative moments, she really was a big positive part of my life. And she was really helpful, honestly. I I think just being kicked out of the house, going through such a big change of being on my own and then being kicked out again and now living in a camper in my grandparents' backyard. I think those things kind of hit me hard, but still, she was there for me. She was consistent. She was one of the couple people that would consistently check up on me along with Chandler. And, I'm still dealing with it. It's something that meant a lot to me, so it's gonna take me a while to move on and get over it. But I won't forget her. That's the one thing. I'm not gonna forget her. And I will. I am forgiving. I forgive her for whatever was going on and what made her eventually block me. Um, and like I'm still gonna hold out for hope, and maybe one day me and her can talk again, and whether it be just a friendship or whatever she wants. I hope that I just have hope. That's all I'm gonna say. I just have hope. And heartbreak is tough. Heartbreak is something, I don't think most people really realize how much a heartbreak can affect you. But don't let it take over your life. Don't let it, drown you, because it's best for you not to sink. It's better for you to swim, and don't let heartbreak let you sink. So, yeah, that's kind of my story. I'm dealing with it really good, but at the same time, it doesn't hurt to miss somebody. And, she's someone on that list of people that I really miss. And, it sucks, but, I'm going to have hope, but it's best for me to try and, start moving on. And hopefully that's what this video and getting all that out there will kind of help with. So, yeah, that is the topic of the day, heartbreak. And I hope, some of what I said, I know maybe it's not as intelligible or as sophisticated or mature or whatever, whatever kind of term you want to use, but hopefully, somebody who watches this, it's something they can relate to and they can understand how I'm feeling and they don't feel alone in the time of being heartbroken and going through a breakup or whatever the case may be. So that will be it for this video diary. I am going to pick it up with another one right after this. So I really hope you enjoy. This is probably one of my longer ones so far. I will have to cut out some footage because I thought I heard some noises again. But that's it for this video diary. I hope you guys enjoyed the return. I will see you guys next week in literally what I'm wearing right now. You'll just see me in 10 minutes from now next week, if that makes any sense. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in video diary number 6. Leave a like, comment, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.